Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Ben. How are you guys doing today? What I have for you today in this video is a recap of Samsung's most recent re:Vent where they talked about the Galaxy Note 5, the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, and then they went in more in depth about Samsung Pay, which is their version of their using their NFC technology basically to make mobile payments without having to use your credit card. But we'll get into that a little bit later. First, I wanted to talk about the Galaxy Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. Now, I'm going to be talking about both of them simultaneously instead of having to talk about them individually, because they're pretty much spec the same way most of the time. Other than that, the only differences is some design differences. That's pretty much it. And let me start with the Note 5 first in terms of the differences. So it's definitely gotten thinner, smaller, and lighter compared to the Galaxy Note 4. And excuse me, you guys see me looking this way because I do have my other monitor set up here with notes. So I have the Galaxy Note 4 right here, and basically it's a smaller version of this, and they pretty much replicated the same design with the same material quality that they use in the Galaxy S6 that they released a few months back, with the glass back and the glass front, and then you have metal all around. It kind of replicates the design of the iPhone 4 and 4S, but in my opinion is I would say, I can't say if it's better built or not. I apologize for that because I haven't actually touched those phones in person. Maybe I have for a quick second, but I didn't remember how it felt. Plus, those were dummy units. Other than that, Samsung has this. It has stronger metal in there. So, I don't know. We'll just have to take their word for it. But, if I do happen to go into the store, I'll hold it and then see how it feels. Alright? And on the Galaxy Note 5, instead of having the flat back, the edges on the back of the phone itself are actually curved. So think of it as the S6 Edge with the curved screen, except on the Note 5, the back is curved. Alright, so the screen is still nice and flat. It's just the back it's curved to basically help people get a better grip of the phone, and it's supposed to feel better when you're holding it because it is a big phone with a 5.7-inch screen, and they want to make it easier for users to hold on to with one hand. Alright, and then of course there's an improved S Pen right here, and the S Pen is actually clickable, believe it or not. So it does make a clicking noise, kind of like how when you have a ball, not a ball peen, like a pen with the clicker on it. That's pretty much it. And you can actually use the S Pen to write on the device itself while your device is locked, because their point of view was like, there are times where people have to write on their smartphones, like maybe they have to take a phone number down or just a quick note, and then you have to unlock your phone, and then you basically have to get into the Notes app, the S Note, and then you start taking out your S Pen, and then you start writing, and that's like a tedious process. So Samsung made it easier where all you have to do is write without your phone having to be unlocked using the S Pen. So that's pretty neat. Although I don't use my S Pen very often. Actually, I've never used it, believe it or not. Maybe once a while just to screw around, but that's pretty much it. And also, they also had some improved air command features, such as like, let's say you're scrolling down a whole list, and they actually demonstrated this, like a whole shopping list, let's say this for example. You can actually capture the whole list instead of having to take multiple screenshots with your device right there, so that way you don't have a photo clutter inside your Photos app. Alright? And Samsung invented a new accessory, which this is going to go for, I think it was just the Note 5. Not 100% sure about the S6 Edge Plus. I haven't heard them mention anything in the event unless if I missed something. But they have a keyboard cover where it's basically a case with a keyboard on it that you can actually detach from the front of your phone. So let's say if you wanted to keep a physical QWERTY keyboard on your device itself, all you have to do is take it from the back, flip it over to the front, and then that's it. Part of this screen right here is covered up with a QWERTY keyboard, and when you're done using it, you want to watch a movie, you take it and then close it to the back. So that's the keyboard cover that Samsung has implemented onto the Note 5 right here. Other than that, let's talk about the S6 Edge Plus in terms of the differences right now. So the S6 Edge Plus, you guys remember the S6 Edge before with the curved screen on the edges? Well, it's pretty much the same thing except in a bigger size. So it's actually about the size of the Galaxy Note 5. And it's actually a little bit smaller than the iPhone 6 Plus, believe it or not. They were actually comparing this to the iPhone 6 Plus. While the screen is bigger from 5.7 inches against 5.5 inches, the phone is actually smaller than the 6 Plus. I don't know how much smaller. I didn't really see that, but it's probably just a minor difference that not too many people are going to notice until they start holding the two next to each other. So that's pretty much the differences, other than, these two devices having more color choices, which is similarly. And let's actually talk about the specs of these guys right here. And like I said before, they're pretty much spec'd the same way most of the time. Let's start out with a 5.7-inch Quad HD display with a resolution of 2560 by 1440 and with 515 pixels per inch. And they're going to launch with Android 5.1 coming stocked on the device. It features an Exynos 7420 octa-core processor, and they actually bump up the RAM on these guys right here up to 4 gigabytes of RAM. They were actually talking about how so many of their customers are using these devices, and all of a sudden they have all these applications running in the background. Their phone starts to get slower, so they bump up the RAM. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Although Apple, they seem to be able to manage their RAM better. That's why they hardly ever upgrade the RAM. But hey, Samsung did this with the RAM upgrade, and I'm actually impressed with that. 4 gigs of RAM inside a phone. I haven't seen RAM that high before on the phone, unless if I'm blind and didn't see it somewhere. Both of these devices will have options of 32 or 64 gigabytes of storage. However, you will not have external storage options right here. So if you're used to your Galaxy Note 4 or the Galaxy S5 having a micro SD card in there for external expansion, you will no longer have that anymore on these two devices. And for those of you guys that have the S6 or the S6 Edge, you probably already experienced that already. So think of this as, okay, you're back to using an iPhone, but with Samsung's design and Android's operating system, or Google's operating system instead of iOS. And I'll talk about that in a different video. As far as the cameras are concerned, 16 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front facing camera, and this is running the fastest LTE network out there. And not only that, but it'll support LTE Cat 9 very soon, or Category 9. And these two devices will record in 4K video, and this features VDIS, which is video image stabilization. And they talked about charging and your battery or your phone quite a bit in here, and you can actually connect wirelessly from your phone to PC, and then you can communicate back and forth with your Mac. I do apologize for that. I don't know why I just jumped around from that, but basically because you can actually view your text messages on your computer screen itself, because Samsung feels like a lot of people are still relying on computers these days, and so you can actually transfer files between devices back and forth, and that's pretty cool. Now I will go back to talk about battery life. So yes, they do have power saving mode, still have fast charging, and now they're going to have fast wireless charging. And actually, there are local stores out there that are going to feature or support wireless charging. Like even Starbucks was one of them, and there's probably more out there. They just have a whole list of places that will support wireless charging. And they claim that you can go from an empty battery life to a full charge within 2 hours, 120 minutes. I don't know. That'll just depend on what kind of outlet you're using, and I guess the wattage of the charger itself. And you have to use a specific fast charging charger. So I guess Samsung specific ones in this case, I believe they call this adaptive fast charging, unless if they change the name to something else. As far as availability is concerned, this will be available in the US and Canada on August 21st, and pre-orders actually start today. So other than that, those are the two devices, and those were pretty much the similarities. Now let's talk about Samsung Pay. So they went in depth more about this, and basically it's supposed to stop you from using your plastic credit cards and debit cards in the stores, and Samsung Pay will pretty much be accepted anywhere and even in local food stores, because some of the credit card machines, if you go into a local food store, you can actually just have your device and then touch the machine itself, and then it'll pick up the payment. And so I guess NFC technology is becoming popular these days. I got something to say about that in a later video, and this will actually support store branded credit cards. Now, as far as availability is concerned, in Korea, it will be available on August 20th, and as far as the US and more countries are concerned, we will get it on September 28th. So that was pretty much it for Samsung's Unpacked event today. What do you guys think about these things? Do you guys like the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus? Or are you guys still going to stick with iPhone? Are you going to stick with Windows Phone? Are you going to switch to these phones and let these become your first Android device? What do you guys think about Samsung Pay? How is it compared to Apple Pay? I mean, do you feel like they copied each other in any way? Such as like, okay, Samsung Pay, his name was almost the same, except they took the word Apple out and put Samsung in. I don't know. Whatever you guys have to say, leave a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.